Hi, everybody. Welcome to another one of our basically specialized webinars on topics that you guys request. This one is about off-market deals. For those of you that are new to Priya or haven't watched any of our webinars before, we do a lot of specialized real estate training, whether it's stuff on project management, finding real estate deals, renovating those deals, flipping properties, etc. And our goal is to really kind of just help the community out there because it's really hard to get this kind of training if you're not in the business, especially if you're new to being in real estate or being a developer, or if you're just looking to do a side hustle and maybe do some flips on the side. There's not really many places that can give you very detailed information on how you should go about it. So like I mentioned, today's topic is actually about finding off-market deals. A lot of people actually believe that if you want to be a real estate investor, that the only way to really get ahead is by finding deals that are not available to everybody, that you have to be in the know, that there's special lists. There's a lot of companies out there that even market, we have exclusive listings and this and that. One myth I'd like to really dispel is that, at least in my career and the people that I hang out with and talk to, over 80 to 90% of the deals we find are in general just on MLS. Now, let me talk about that for a couple seconds here. When you're looking at MLS, there's a lot of information to filter through, right? You can think of it as basically an ocean of listings. But what you need to learn, and this isn't as specific for off-market deals, but deals in general, is the specific criteria for the type of property you're looking for and what you want to do with that property. There's certain criteria you want to apply when trying to buy a piece of land, a single-family home, a condo, a townhouse, whatever, depending on what you want to do with it. Your criteria, let's just take a single-family home as an example, for a home that you want to live in compared to a home that you want to flip, compared to a home that you may want to develop, would be quite different. There's different criteria that you want to take into account. If there's a tree in a certain place and you're buying a property for you to live in it and you love the look of that tree, that's not an issue. If you're going to buy a property and you're going to develop it, that tree could be a huge issue. So that's why we're really specific about teaching people what you need to look out for and how you need to look for specific properties and do specific searches. So when we go back to talking about off-market deals, I'm going to take you through kind of some different ways to find them and different areas to look, different people to talk to. But in addition to that, which we're not going to talk about today, is you also need to specify kind of the criteria depending on the type of property or type of project you're looking to do. Now, before we get into that, one thing I would like to do is take a couple minutes and talk to you guys about the Professional Real Estate Academy. You guys may not know who we are or what we do. So let's go through a little bit of an agenda of what we're going to go through in today's webinar. The first thing I'd like to talk about essentially is who Priya is. Where do we come from? What do we do? Next thing we'll do is I'm going to show you guys some places to find some off-market deals. Okay, I'm going to give you some websites, some information. Some of it you may feel is pretty straightforward. Some of you may not have thought about it. The funny thing is, if you ask multiple people, you probably get multiple answers of which ones they think is straightforward and which ones they think they wouldn't have known about. But we just like to put all the information out there and you guys can use it the way that suits you best. Another big thing is basically who to talk to. So if you're in this business, you're going to have people that you deal with on a day-to-day basis. And should you be talking to those people about off-market deals? So we'll get a little bit into that. This kind of ties directly into networking. But what are some other options when it comes to networking? Who can you talk to? What are your choices? What are some areas that you may not have thought about that can actually help you? Networking is a huge, huge, huge part of this business. Last thing is, if you're up to speed on everything that we've given you, I'm going to give you some additional options at the end, maybe, kind of scraping the bottom of the barrel of, areas where you might be able to find a deal. Okay. What I would like to reiterate that most of the deals you find, again, are just on MLS, But these are a great option that a lot of them you don't need to put a lot of time into, but can actually give you a great return. So the first thing here is let's get into who is Priya. So the first thing about us at Professional Real Estate Academy is we're here to help. Okay. Our goal is to provide knowledge and support to people that are in the real estate industry, but also doing flips, also about construction. My background, I've had 20 years of construction experience, everything from doing small renos to building bridges and malls. So we all together in the Professional Real Estate Academy try to help each other. The thing we're probably most well known for is our flipping course. This is where we show people how to flip condos. We have many students making six figures, $120,000 a year, flipping condos on the side. We have a very detailed program that shows you step by step. It's over 72 modules of how to flip these condos and earn a profit. If you're someone that's new to the business and doesn't have as much money to get into it, this is a great way to start. One of our newest offerings coming is our builders course. This is a course that I'm putting together to help people, not necessarily about how to do the construction. I don't need you out to drywalling and painting, but how to manage a build, what to do as the GC or as the builder, or if you hire a GC, how to deal with them. This could be for renovation, single family, multifamily, but also for you to have the knowledge to, provide some checks and balances to the people on site. It's one thing to go on site and ask somebody, hey, does this look good? Is this right? As opposed to you actually having some knowledge to ask the questions about why you may think that doesn't look right or why you want to have that checked into because you don't like it. There's over 170 members in what we like to call the Priya Army. That's the group of people that work together and help each other. One of the things we do is what you're watching right now, these specialized webinars. So this particular one is obviously on off-market deals, but we do ones on project management, doing performance, basically figuring out, will your project make money before you start it? And we have various other webinars that we dive into topics that most people don't talk about. Last thing is we do some live events. These are just a way to meet people face to face, just part of networking. I love getting out there and hearing from people about what they're doing with their projects and kind of sharing what's going on in my life and my career. Last thing is live coaching. So if you go to priyaschool.com, so preaskool.com, you can join us on the school platform. And that's where we have our community where we help people. You can ask questions. We do live coaching. You can look through and see some of our other webinars, some of other past information that we've put out. And it's basically the hub of where we share everything going on with Priya and all the coaching, and there's a calendar and everything. So it's just a great place to be. And best part is it's free. So let's get to the reason why most of you are watching this is let's talk about off-market deals. So the main thing people always ask is, how do you find them? What's the best way to go about it? So the first thing I want to do is let's talk about the lowest amount of effort to get the biggest return. So that's basically setting up your searches. So there's lots of online platforms where people will list stuff on their own. Okay. So that's kind of stuff where it'll be like for sale by owners. Now, what you don't want to do is just go to those websites and search. That's a waste of your time because you have to go back and back and back. What you want to do is in most of these softwares, so the common ones would be Craigslist, which I don't think as many people use anymore, but I know a lot of older people do use it because that's kind of what they know and that's what they're used to. Kijiji, I know, is very popular on the East Coast and the Eastern provinces, way more than Craigslist. But I think the main one right now that most people are using tends to be Facebook Marketplace. Now, within each of those platforms, you can actually set up searches with either keywords, pricing, locations, cities. There's a multitude of filters that you can put in. And that's a great way to basically get automatic results and automatic feedback whenever somebody posts something. Maybe you don't find something that actually really works out with you, but sometimes, you stumble on some great deals or some great information, or it even can lead you to looking into a specific area because you realize something's happening. Why is this person selling? Maybe you have a conversation with them and they open the door to a different possibility with a different property. But once again, go in there, set up your searches with the criteria of the type of property you're looking for. So if you could only afford to be in the condo game right now, there's no reason on those searches for you to be looking for houses, right? Because it's going to be outside your price range. The other thing is, if you are looking to do bigger projects, you probably don't want to know about condos. Or maybe you don't want to know about stuff that's less than 5 years old, right? Or maybe you want to know somebody that's like as is, where is. Always a great term to put in there. That's basically people that are just done with their place, want to get out of it, and just want somebody to take over the headache. Putting in the correct terms, the correct criteria for the area is a great way. Sometimes you can use school names or popular destinations, transit hubs or stations. So people will put, near so-and-so station, near so-and-so bus loop. And that might be a great place that you want to buy because there may be a lot of people looking in that area, right? One of the things that I always mention to people when you're finding these deals is, especially if you're in the flipping game, make sure you're buying in a high demand area, guys. You want to make sure that when you go to sell this property, there's high demand to be in that space. All right, let's talk on the next thing. So as I mentioned earlier, if you're in this business, there's professionals that you're going to deal with. Each one of these professionals tends to be involved with a different part of the real estate process. And by being in contact with them, they can let you know, especially if you tell them, I'm looking for property, if something is coming up. So what's the most obvious one? Realtors. Okay, this is nothing mind-blowing here. But the difference is, don't just talk to one realtor. Okay, I always like to use realtors that are specialized in the area and the type of property that I'm dealing with. I wouldn't use someone that does high-end condos downtown in a rural area if I'm looking for farmland or if I'm looking for a large subdividable property. That's not their specialty. So I may have 2 or 3 different realtors that I talk to, especially if I'm looking to develop. Let's say I've got 3 different regions where I'm willing to do a development or my investors want to do a development. I would talk to 3 realtors that specialize in those areas and say, hey, look, if you have anything come up, I'm looking for parcels of land between this size. I've got people ready to go. Please let me know. Now, here's the key thing. You need to follow up with these people, especially with realtors. Okay. Everybody on the list, you need to follow up. And I'm not talking every day. Put a reminder in your phone or your calendar, every 2 weeks, every month, whatever. But just touch base with them. Hey, how are you doing? What's going on with the market? Get your market update, find out what's going on in their area. Just a reminder, I still have people looking for land in your area, or I'm looking for a house or looking for a condo or a townhome or whatever. That's your job, okay? Putting that out there and spending that 1 to 2 to 5 minutes on a phone call, maybe go for lunch with them, but usually a phone call suffices. That's how you make sure they remember that when a property does come up, they're like, oh yeah, I remember Jag was looking for something. Let me give him a call, okay? One other thing you can do is with your realtors, have them send out a letter to all of the expired and canceled listings in the area. You don't know why the listing expired or was canceled, okay? Did it expire because it was priced too high? Did it expire because it wasn't demand at the time? Did it expire and they're just waiting to list it with another realtor because they weren't happy with the first one? What was it canceled for? Did they have a change of heart? Maybe there was a disagreement on price or what's being sold. But you don't need to know what their reason is for selling and why it expired, why it canceled. But reaching out, sometimes people are frustrated with the process. And you reaching out, you may get an advantage on the buy because they may be frustrated and just want to get rid of it. Now, a lot of these options I'm going to give you guys, I don't want you to think that we're trying to take advantage of people. But there are situations where people need to clear out real estate quickly. And typically, if you want to move something quickly, there's going to have to be some give for that, whether it's on price, whether it's on closing terms, whatever it is. The idea is to come to a deal that makes both parties happy. That's all, okay? There's no reason to try to get one over on somebody. There's a lot of money to be made out there, and you can do it basically just by making sure you're open and honest about what you're doing. And a lot of the times you'll still find these deals, and you'll find that the people you want to deal with, especially the professionals, treat them with respect and do the dealings honestly and fairly, you'll get a lot more business in the end. Now, another great one, similar to realtors, is mortgage brokers. Brokers will know about people that are in properties that maybe can't afford to do their renewal or don't want to renew. Perhaps they want to get out of the property, or they really want to go to a different investment. They also may be looking to, let's say somebody has a property, has an investment property, but is looking to buy another investment property. Okay. So if they've got two properties, they're looking to acquire a third, but they really want the third one. Well, the broker may tell them, hey, look, you really can't qualify unless you get rid of that second one. And they're on a time crunch because they need to close on that third one. So that could be a situation where they're willing to lose a little bit on the second one because they want to acquire the third one, right? Once again, this is, do you follow up phone calls every 2 weeks, every month, whatever you feel comfortable with, and whatever your relationship with the person is. I have a lot of people that I deal with that are actually my friends, and I just talk to them, and I always just let them know, hey, I'm still looking for property. If the other thing comes up, let me know. Private lenders. There can be situations where they just want to get their money back, and they need to get someone is either defaulting or has informed them they might default. Interest rates went up. They can't afford to keep the property. There's all different kinds of situations. So letting them know that, if something comes up and you need to clear out a property, I'm a person that you can deal with. Now, here's another thing. You may not be ready to acquire a property at that time. Maybe it's a bad time when you get the call. You always want to make sure you are willing to take the phone call. And maybe you pass that on to a friend or to a colleague or to somebody else looking for a deal. You kind of want to become the hub of people that feed information through and help them out. Every single time, is it going to result in you getting financial gain? No. But you're kind of, putting your chips away for a future that because these persons contact you, you almost get the first right of refusal. And also the people that you're helping out with a good deal or letting them know with the information, you're helping out the private lender. He's getting rid of his property. You're connecting to somebody that's looking for a property. They both get a good deal. They're both happy. And they're going to be like, oh, hey, Jay, thank you, man. I appreciate that you were willing to do that for me. That's all it is. That's how we help each other. Okay. Lawyers. Lawyers can sometimes know about properties for bad reasons, good reasons. There may be somebody inside of a divorce, maybe somebody in a certain financial situation, or they could also be in sort of some kind of legal trouble and they need to clear out some properties. So if you can be friends with lawyers that are in the real estate trade, and this just might be the lawyer, maybe it's only one lawyer, the lawyer that you use for your closings, right? Or if you use a notary instead, just let them know, say, hey, if you ever have somebody that needs to move a property quickly or is looking to sell something off market, please let me know. That's all you're doing, right? Just get the information. It doesn't mean you have to act on every single deal. Accountants are another great source. Similar to lawyers, they're going to know if somebody needs to move something quickly again, whether it's, again, for financial reasons or one that I know that happened recently is somebody had basically a down year in their business, but they owned a property that had a lot of value on it. And they wanted to clear that property out before fiscal year end because they had to declare that profit and they were going to take the tax on it. And this was a good year for them because their company's profits were very low. So they had a lot of available tax room. So they actually sold that property for less than market value because even though they sold it for less than market value, the taxes they were going to pay on the sale would be less, which overall gave them a greater profit. Okay, so you never know the person's reason of why they're selling it for below market value and why they need to sell it quickly. There can be a multitude of reasons. So in the case of that person, they were just being a very astute business owner and realized that they could cash out a bunch of money that they made on a property during a downtime in their business and basically maximize their tax return. Okay, so a great way to do stuff. Strata managers. A strata manager in general should know what's going on in his building and know what's going on with the units. If you're in a building with a strata, you should be friends with the strata manager. Let them know. If something comes up, let me know. If there's a property, obviously, if you live in that building, you're going to know a lot about that building too. But you may not know when a property might come available and might be off market. If you have any rental properties or any investment properties, still go talk to your strata person. Just let them know. Okay, we're not trying to be pushy here. It's just letting people know that if there's a property that comes available and they need someone to move it quickly, or if they're looking for an off-market sale, you're available. That's all. Okay. Trades. This one is probably quite overlooked. Trades do find out about people needing to get rid of properties. So if you're in this business, you're going to deal with plumbers, electricians, painters, framers, et cetera, down the list. And letting them know, hey, if you hear of any projects, because in construction, there is times where people are building a home and something in their life changes and they can't afford to finish the home and they want to sell it, trying to find somebody to buy a home mid-construction is very hard. But if this is your business, that's not very hard for you. Another reason is people start building a new home and they get divorced and they want to sell it mid-construction, right? The trades often get told, hey, stop working. We've got to sell the property, so they can let you know, hey, I know this property is going to be flipped pretty quick. You can go talk to them if you're interested, right? And the advantage of the trades is, especially if you know them, if you can get that property and you buy that property and you can develop it, you're going to put them back to work and they're not going to lose any money on their contracts, right? So once again, everybody on this list ties back basically into my next point, networking, okay? You can't be alone in this business. There's a great saying out there is that your network is your net worth. It's one that I really love. So all those professionals that you deal with in the day-to-day of this business, just letting them know kind of where you're at and where you're standing, you never know what'll happen in return. And it's not a huge time investment, right? You can have your list of people, you can create a reminder, and you can call them all and probably be done in under 2 hours, right? And do that once a month. You do that once a month, you are leaps and bounds ahead of everybody else in this business, okay? Beyond belief, right? So many people follow-up is very, very poor. My follow-up, it's not great. If I didn't have reminders and bells and all this other software kind of making me do it and red flashing that I haven't done it and I'm 5 days overdue, I probably wouldn't do a lot of stuff. So, use technology to help you guys. Now, what are some other ways we can network? Obviously, pre-army, okay? Coming to priaschool.com. Priya School is basically our hub. We have a chat in there. We post about new webinars we're doing, any of the live coaching. If you have a question, okay, how about that? Like if you have a question, it's really hard in this business to get an answer. A lot of people will be like, oh, I'll just go on Google. You don't know who's answering you on Google. Are they qualified? Who is the person, right? Is it a guy sitting in his basement, with a Lego city around him, thinking he's a developer because he built all these Lego kits? You just don't know. The world's a crazy place. At least if you come to someone like the Priya School, you're around, lawyers, doctors, real estate agents, builders, developers, building inspectors, plumbing inspectors, actual trades. There's all gamut of people, but the common thing is everybody is there because they're interested in real estate. So surrounding yourself around people like that in that group is very valuable. And also they can offer you a lot of support, which leads me essentially into the second thing, meetup groups. If you're into a particular kind of real estate, there often are groups that are very specific. And that's a great way, because if one of those people, let's just say you're in one of those groups, or even inside the P-Army, if I know about a deal and I can't do anything with it, where am I going to share? I'm going to share in the P-Army. Same thing in these groups. They're going to share with their group, right? Hey, guy, I just found out about this property. This is what's happening. If anybody's interested, here's the contact information, et cetera, et cetera. Just a great way to share and help people. And, also it'll come back in return. Let people know what you do. Hey, I don't know. So many people don't do this. You have friends, you have family. Do they know what you do? Okay. Do your friends of friends know what you do? Do they know if you are a real estate investor? Do they know if you're a real estate agent? Do they know if you're a condo flipper? Do they know if you're just looking for your first new house? Right? If they don't know what's going on, they can't tell you anything. So it's really important to share with people what you do, what your current situation is. You're not trying to boast or anything like that. You're just letting people know, hey, this is what I'm doing. Yeah, I'm looking for some property, You know what I mean? Lots of times in casual conversations that I have with people, when my friend's trying to flip this place, they just want to get rid of it. Oh, they're looking for a contractor. Oh, they're looking for this. then I'll refer them somebody if I can, or maybe I'm going to talk to them myself because it may be something that works out for me. Once again, about helping each other, right? The first thing I said about when it comes to PRIA is we're here to help and we want people to help each other. That's how we make the community strong. One of the last is joint ventures. There's people out there that are trying to do projects, but they don't have enough funds, they don't have enough time, or they don't have enough experience. Okay. It can be any of the three. So if you let people know that, hey, like for me, maybe I don't have the time to do a project. Okay. But I definitely have the experience. And I say, hey, look, I can walk you through it. If you've got the time, I can teach you. We can join up together. Let's do this project together and invest together and let's get it done. And you do the time, and in return, I'll provide you with the knowledge and teach you. Right. That's a great way to do a joint venture. I had one where we had a doctor. She's very busy, and she wants to do some condo flips. She actually teamed up with somebody that was new to the country, that did no construction, and had the time, but didn't actually have access to funds. They did a joint venture together. Actually, I think they've done a couple now, 2 or 3. And he was able to do all the work, find the properties, get them renovated, sell them, and she provided all the funds. And they came up with a split of how much a percentage of the profit each would get. And as they've gone through them, his percentage has gone up because he's taking the money that he's earned from his first one and reinvested it, right? And that's how he's building up his capital so that he can do these on his own. Whether he's going to keep working with the doctor to do more and more GVs, I don't know. But it's often a great option when it comes to doing these deals. And the reason that I have this in the off-market section is because sometimes people have their own properties. They're not listing it. They're just looking for a partner, right? They don't want to sell it. They want to develop it, but they're looking for a partner to help them. Okay. So reaching out, letting people know what you do. Hey, you know what? Oh, really? You're in construction. Would you be interested in doing a flip? I've got this property. If you don't tell them what you do, they can't help you. Now, what are some things that we can do where, Jag, I know all that. I do that. I'm a rock star. I got it. Okay. Number one, great for you. What are some things that I want to know, like the nitty gritty stuff? Let's get into some additional options. So the first one is online ads. And I would even go as far as paper. Okay. There are still some people that do advertisements in some of those local newspapers. It still occurs. Okay. But once again, this is kind of like setting up your searches in Facebook and Marketplace, but you can look at other websites where if it's a smaller community, they may have a local website, they may have a for sale website. You can dig really deep and go down there, look in their classifieds and see if anybody's doing it for sale by owners. Door knocking, not glamorous. A lot of people don't like it. And it's not easy trudging. But if there's an area that you want to work, knocking on every door can be very effective. You don't want to be pushy with people. You just be respectful. You're probably going to get a lot of doors slammed in your face, or people saying just not interested in closing the door, but it just takes one, if I told you that for every 100 doors you knocked on, you would make $100,000, every one of you would go knock on 100 doors. Okay. But that's not that far from the truth, depending on what kind of real estate project you're going to do. Right? Even if I said, I'll pay you $10,000 to knock on 100 doors, you probably would do it. So you kind of have to look at it from that perspective, and be cordial with people. Just let them know leave them some kind of information that they can contact you. You never know what could happen. Maybe they're a renter and they want to give it to the homeowner. There's always options, but yes, door knocking is still very valid, and a great way to try to find an off-market deal. Direct mail campaigns. If you don't want to go knock on every door, put something through their mailbox. Okay. Tons of realtors still do this. The better thing is if you can be more specific about what you're looking to do for the properties. I get a lot of realtor mail in mind just saying, hey, somebody wants to buy your house. Really? Like, it's just generic, just someone who wants to buy my house. Right. Or say, hey, I'm looking for a property to develop. I'm looking at your house for these specific reasons, or I'm looking at the area for specific reasons because of the school, or I'm trying to move there for my children. The current house I'm in, we got because of a letter, because we wanted to be in this specific area and we wanted our son to go to a specific school. And there was multiple offers on this property, but they went with us because, they liked what we wrote out and they liked what we put in our letter. Okay. So that stuff does work. All right. Cold calling, get your lists. You can go to, there's websites where you can get calling lists. One thing I would suggest here is come up with a little bit of a script. Okay. I know it's maybe seem a little bit, cold, lack of a better term, but you want to make sure you touch the talking points that you want to get through on a call. And on your first call, you're going to be dialed in. But by your 10th call, you're going to start slipping. And by your 100th call, you're definitely going to forget things. Okay. So having a script is just to make sure to keep you on point. Same thing with door knocking. Having a script of what you're going to say and checking it before each one is really important so you don't gloss over key points and key talking points when you're dealing with people. Tax sales. This isn't really too common anymore because the value of property taxes unpaid rarely would exceed the value of the property, right? If you have $100,000 of property taxes unpaid, there probably isn't going to be a tax sale for $1 million house, right? But depending on your area or the area you're looking, maybe you're looking for something that's in a recreation area and the properties are way lower. Maybe you're looking for condos in a more rural area and the prices are way lower. You just never know. My only thing here is just to provide you guys with some options, make you think a little bit out of the box. But yeah, tax sales are definitely a certain way. If you're in the US, 100%. Tax sales are still a great way, right? To go looking for stuff. So let me do a little recap of kind of what we covered here. So we went through basically, dealing with the professionals, the people that you're going to deal with your day-to-day, talk to them, let them know what you do, let them know what you're looking for. Okay. So there's your realtors, your mortgage brokers, your strata managers, trades, etc. Let those people know what you do when you're looking for properties. Network, get out there with a group, PREA Army, meetup groups, letting people know what you do again. I'm going to keep saying that. Let people know what you do, right? Because if they don't know what you do, they can't help you. Online ads, this also ties into, your Facebook, your Craigslist, your marketplace. If you want to look at something, depending on the area you're looking at, maybe there's a local listing. Still great options to try to find these deals. PREA Army, the best one. Yes, I'm biased. Talking to people inside the PREA Army, we have had people, whether it's been through doing a joint venture, or basically a property that they can't take on. Sometimes people will literally put inside the chat, guys, here's this property. They'll make a post. It's available. It's a great deal. It's something that's great for a flip, whatever, et cetera, et cetera. That person may not be ready to do it, but there may be somebody else. Last thing, the additional options we went through. So, your tax sales, like I said, not the greatest thing. So that's kind of what we went over. So as I said a couple times here, guys, hopefully you liked this presentation about kind of some ways to find those off-market deals. If you have any questions or anything, please come visit us over at preaschool.com. You can go to the prea.com and there's a link to PREA School, or you can just go to preaschool.com. Join up. It's free to come join the community and ask your questions, read up on other stuff, and hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for everything.